In Kentucky, we don't just take chances, we bet big. This month, I'm sitting down with 4 Kentuckians who made 4 bold moves and asking one question: what was the biggest bet that you ever took on yourself? This episode of the podcast is brought to you by Town & Country Ford. No matter where life's adventures lead you, Town & Country Ford is along for the ride. What you think can be done to continue to encourage people to be involved in the sport, to be an owner, to be a jockey, to attend and to be a part of this beautiful sport?
It's adrenaline. You know, the thing I could compare it to is maybe when you're on a roller coaster and when you're about to get over the top and you just go straight down.
Do you believe in that? Do you feel that connection with certain horses that you feel like, okay, they can't really communicate with me, but they're giving me signs that I can't explain this, but something's not right?
I tell everybody, if you could bottle up the feeling of winning a race, it would cure cancer.
My next guest is a Louisiana native that made his way to Kentucky and completely conquered it. 19 riding titles at Churchill Downs, over 5,000 career wins, a George Wolfe Award winner, and the man who famously brought Looking at Lee from dead last to second in the mud, by the way, in the 2017 Kentucky Derby. He's going to actually tell us a bit more about why he's hanging up his boots in the horse riding industry for good the end of the month at Churchill Downs. But it is my honor to introduce everybody to the one and only Corey Lanerie. Yes. Oh my gosh. It's so great to talk to you. You know, I think looking back, I used to work in Louisiana in news there, and I'm realizing, like, I know I've covered you so many times at the fairgrounds. And, you know, what was it like growing up in Louisiana, in Lafayette, right?
It was a little town called Cankton. It's near Lafayette, probably 20 minutes away from there. And, you know, it was great. I grew up in the country. You know, we lived on a gravel road and horses in the backyard, and we just got to do whatever we wanted.
Yeah, and a whole family involved in horse racing, like from a young age. How did that shape you growing up with a father that was in the industry? You grew up galloping, you know, at the age of 9. How did those early days shape you, you think, into the jockey that you've become?
I think it taught us how to work and, you know, be confident around the horses. It taught us from the ground up. You know, we didn't start just riding horses. We had to clean stalls. We had to take care of our own horse, get up in the morning before school and feed him. And it taught you about the nature of the business and about the horse. And I always wanted to be a jockey since as long as I can remember. My dad was a jockey, and then my grandparents had race horses in the backyard. So it was all I knew and all I wanted to do.
Corey, you had plenty of opportunities to practice in that kind of environment, didn't you? What do you remember about that at an early age where you realized, oh, I do want to do this? What was it about being around the horses or just being around the sport that made you just so want to be a part of the sport?
When I was growing up, you know, when we go to the racetrack and when a jockey would walk by me, it was like Michael Jordan walking by another kid that loves basketball and wants to be the NBA player. So, and I just catch myself, like, you just stared at him and, I don't know, you just idolize him, and it's what I wanted to do, and it's what I was going to do.
Where did you get your first mount?
At Delta Downs, Vinton, Louisiana. Trainer by the name of Glenn Delahousie. He had a couple horses in that night, and I was still in school. So I was going to the track in the morning at Evangeline Downs, getting on some horses, and then I'd go to school for 8 o'clock. So it only gave me an hour or so to get on some, but, you know, I was driving and fixing to start riding. So Delta was closing, and you have to ride 2 mounts and let the stewards approve you to get your license. And because in case you're
like
not
a
ready,
probationary period or something, right?
Yeah, like they have to okay you to be able to be a jockey, to make sure you know enough and you won't hurt yourself or anybody else. So we went there, and he paid double jock mount on this one horse to let me ride and be able to get my license to be ready for Evangeline Downs, which opened like 2 weeks later. Mm-hmm. And it was a very slow horse, and he knew it, but it got me around there safe and showed that I was ready, you know, and I'll never forget that.
What was that like to get your racing license for the very first time? You had to feel so much pride that, look at me, I'm really doing this now. Like, there's no backing out. We're in this.
I was a jockey finally, you know.
Yeah.
Finally got to do what I've always dreamed of. And I was only 17 years old. I still lived with my parents. So looking back, I was really, really green and probably should have waited longer to start. but I was scared I would get too big. And at that point, I weighed 100 pounds and ate whatever I wanted. But my foot was the same size it is today.
You know, I think people don't realize what a mentally tough business it is. It's mentally tough. It's physically tough. Maintaining the weight, being disciplined, taking the spills, getting back up. At what point did you ever have a moment where that voice in your head said, "I don't know, man," or maybe I got to approach this differently, or I've got to get into a different routine to make sure that when I do take that spill, I am able to physically get back up?
Uh, Never really think about that part, but one time I was probably, I don't know, it's been a long time now, but I had went to ride at Calder. That's how long ago it was. Calder was still running. And I was riding the fairgrounds for the meet. So I flew to Calder, and it was like January 1st. And that's why I remember the date. So I came back to the fairgrounds, and I had a horse. I fell that day and got ran over. Was able to get up and was fine. Thank God. On the
You
next
probably
day,
raced. Did you race like later that day too? Probably after
I'm
you.
sure I did.
Yeah, I'm
Yeah,
sure you did.
yeah.
Yeah.
Well, and then the next day, it happened again, and I got run over 2 days in a row. And I was scared for 2 months. I thought I was going to quit then, but it went away.
Yeah. What do you do to get yourself like mentally out of that space?
I just think time, and you have to, yeah, I guess just time.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And
that
you
would
have
be
to
the
be
only thing.
sore.
Yeah.
You have to be
Yeah.
like
Oh,
physically.
I was sore.
Yeah. How do you get past that? Like physically to kind of,
You just work through it. It's just something we do. A lot of guys out there riding pain every day.
yeah.
Your lower back, knees. I've been blessed. My knees have been great. My lower back gives me problems sometimes.
Yeah.
But
I think you've hung in it pretty long here. You really, really have. Many fans may remember looking at Lee 2017, hugging the rail from post one in the slop, hit the board at 33-1. When you are sitting on a horse like that in that race and it's chaos, 20-horse field, how much at that time becomes a calculated plan or just pure raw instinct in that moment?
well, you always go to the gate with a plan, but then the minute the gates open, that can be thrown out the window. And sometimes it goes perfect, but not very often. So it's purely instinct.
Yeah.
I think it's just like reacting down the road when you're driving. If somebody swerves in your lane or something, you're gonna react and hopefully do the right thing. And then we make mistakes out there too,
Yeah.
But a lot of times we hope we're on so much the best horse that nobody can see the mistake.
When you're going through, like, take me back with the chaos that was even around,
Oh,
how do
yeah.
you, I think
To get through it
about
and
these last place starts so much right now just because of Golden Tempo. And I think we all like see a horse coming from last to first, and you're taking a horse from last to second place in the Kentucky Derby. How do you handle the millions of things that are coming like at you at a rapid
on that
state?
kind of horse too, I think it's easier because
Really?
you know you're coming from last and you don't have the horse that needs to be in front. So then you're worried about a good break, worried about if somebody's going to bump you. Whereas on him, I was just like, let me just get out of here and then kind of let everybody do what they got to do. And I'm going to sit in the back and watch things happen and then pick my route and let it unfold.
Yeah.
And it's crazy, but like in the derbies I've rode, I've never been on the favorite or anything. So it's no pressure at all.
That has to be a
Because-
good place to be, honestly.
And when you go into the derby, you got to know you're going to get in trouble. You're going to get bumped probably. And it's just, you have to be very lucky to win the race. So I think that takes pressure off too, because people know stuff is going to happen and you just go and have fun.
Yeah. Well, you've been on plenty of big names and lesser names. Is there a horse that you've been on that's kind of an unsung hero that has held a special place in your heart that maybe the public isn't too aware of? That, oh man, everybody knows this name, but there's a lesser known horse that you're like, this horse was special.
There's a couple of them actually. One is Star Guitar. He's a Louisiana bred horse, and he won a ton of races. And my daughter's named after Miss Evelyn's stable, Britland Racing Stables. And so that was pretty special to win on him. And he never won the big races like in Kentucky, but he was unbeatable in Louisiana, with Louisiana breds, and he was special. And the other one is a horse called Hawakam. And I just loved him because he loved the rail as much as I did. And he would come through a space that wasn't even there. And he would make room. So he was fun to ride.
Mm-hmm. I feel like Louisiana is a pretty special place to watch races. I mean, I love the fairgrounds, like being there. What is it that you love? I think we talk always a lot about Churchill Downs because that's in our backyard. But has the fairgrounds and Delta Downs and Evangeline, have those been pretty special tracks to you that I think sometimes the people don't? I don't know, there's like a whole different vibe down there. Like the fairgrounds always holds a special place in my heart. Like it's raw. There's a different kind of energy and the people there. I don't know. It's just, maybe it's the vibe of New Orleans. It's just a party. It's a party at the track.
And everybody kind of seems happy. Everybody's friendly with each other. You know, it's almost like everybody's family, you know, in Louisiana.
Yeah.
So it's special. And the other tracks are special too. You know, they're where I started and where I cut my teeth. So
yeah. They all have, I think, a different vibe to them. I wanted to get your opinion kind of on, I just feel like there's so much that's changing within the industry. You've got some tracks that are closing. You've got FanDuel TV going off the air the end of June. Kind of with all the changes, like, what do you make of it? Like, I mean, I want horse racing to be around. I want people to be involved in the sport. And it's like, I don't really have an answer to, okay, but I want to talk to people about it. And I'm just curious, like, what you think of it and what you think can be done to continue to encourage people to be involved in the sport, to be an owner, to be a jockey, to attend and to be a part of this beautiful, beautiful sport.
I think you just got to get the people out there, especially the kids. You know, when I was growing up, they didn't let kids into the front side because of the gambling and stuff like that. And I think it hurt the sport then because once the elderly people went away, kids didn't have no interest in it.
Yeah.
They knew nothing about it. So I think you got to get them involved in liking it early. And then when they get old enough, they'll buy a horse or want to be a jockey or do something in the industry. Because I tell everybody, if you could bottle up the feeling of winning a race, it would cure cancer. You know, and it doesn't have to be a big race.
Nothing
just
like
winning a horse race, it's the best feeling in the world.
And you know, it's like the excitement. It's like as a spectator, if I win $2, Corey, I'm like, oh my God. Like, I don't know what it is. It's like, I've won barely anything. I can't imagine like being on a horse and being like, from that perspective, how exhilarating that must be.
But just the feeling of winning. And then like, if I go home, my dad was training horses not long ago. And if he had one running, it's crazy. If I'm in the grandstands watching, I get nervous.
Yeah.
Because you want him to win. But if I was riding it, there was no nerves at all.
And it's so wild. Like, it's like your horse could be the best horse on paper. It could have had the best workout. It could have the best jockey. And the cool thing that I love about horse racing is that it's anybody's race the moment those gates open.
You never know what can happen. And you never know if they can't talk to us. You never know if he's not feeling it that day.
Right.
Or something's just not right, you know, or they just don't feel like doing it that day. They're in a bad mood.
Do you believe in that? Do you feel that connection with certain horses that you feel like, okay, they can't really communicate with me, but they're giving me signs that I can't explain this, but something's not right. Or man, we're feeling really good today.
Yeah.
I think I'm going to do this. What do you feel?
I always, you know, you can, doing it enough, you can read your horse and they do talk to you. They give you signs. You know, I think one that might not want to go in the starting gate. Well, there might be a reason. Like he's trying to tell you maybe his foot is sore today or he's not feeling good. Because the ones that really feel good and are wanting to do it, they'll go right in. And they'll be calm. And then you get some horses that are really nervous and washing out, nervous. And so something's not right.
Yeah.
But I think they talk to us. It's just sometimes we don't believe them. You know, and so we try anyhow and we hope for the best. But that's why they put him in the starting gate.
Yeah. Do you still hold the title as the second all-time winningest jockey at Churchill Downs? Yes.
Yeah. I just got it for the last meet.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it was the last meet. Yeah.
Good. I'm going to ask you about that. I grew up in a Ford family. My dad worked at the Louisville Ford assembly plant. And it wasn't just a brand for us, it was a way of life. And that's the thing about Ford, is that they're woven into a part of our culture here in Kentucky and across America. So no matter where life's adventures may take you, Town & Country Ford is along for the ride. Welcome back to the Best Bet podcast. I'm sitting down with jockey Corey Lanerie. He is the second all-time winningest jockey at Churchill Downs, and he is getting ready to hang up his boots here, the end of the Churchill Downs meet. I know that has to be a moment for you. That has to be a really hard decision for you to get to. Where did you decide, okay, I think this is it. I think it's time.
I've been thinking about it for a while, but it's hard to pull the trigger.
You feel it in your back, your knees?
Just,
No.
it's getting really, really tough out there. The young guys are really good and working hard. And, I've gotten to a point in my career where I don't want to work so hard, so
Amen.
the morning work and stuff, didn't want to do it. And, it affects my business. So business is slow now, but it's only myself to blame, and I'm fine with it. And I get to go out and ride a few horses and stumble on the money is so good at Churchill. I ride less than 10 horses a week, and I'm still making probably what the average person who works their butt off all week makes, So that was hard to pass up too, because it was just like free money coming in, and I still got to do what I wanted to do almost every day.
Over 5,000 career wins, second all-time winningest jockey at Churchill Downs. You passed up Calvin Burrell last year. He kind of gave you some crap for that in a nice way, didn't he?
Yeah.
What did he say to you?
No, he was. They actually had a interview of him, and he just congratulated me, and he said he was proud of me because we were in the same corner, and in the jocks room, we had the same valet, his nephew Shane Burrell, and when I first came here, Calvin winning all the races, and I would watch him, and then he gave me lots of advice. Robbie Alvarado was in there. And, I don't think I was the rider I have been when I came here, but coming here made me much better riding with those guys.
Yeah. I believe that. It's like when you're next to people that are elevating the game or whatever they do to a level, like good competition, it makes you want to step up even higher.
It makes you perform better because you're not going to win if you don't get better, and thank God it worked.
Yeah. When Churchill Downs had that moment last year where you were the second all-time winningest jockey, 5,000 career wins, there's kind of a moment there in the winner's circle that had to make you feel like, come a long way from Louisiana. And there are a lot of jockeys that get into this business that never achieve what you've achieved. That had to be a moment where you're like, and I'm around greats all the time. Pat Day is the only one ahead of you in that kind of a standing. That's incredible. And that had to make you feel proud.
That's probably one of my most proudest things because, I was scared to even come over here. And then, because I was riding at Lone Star Park and I was doing really good. And, you hate to leave a place where you're winning 6, 7 races a week, sometimes 10. To come here where Pat Day's riding at, Robbie was here, Shane Sellers, Calvin Burrell, and
the greats.
All the best. And so it was very intimidating. And Robbie and another friend of mine finally talked me into coming. And, I did just okay for like 5 years. And then I think Julian Leperoux, he was kind of the leading rider, and he decided to go try California. And when he did that, that's when I got my chance to ride like for the top leading trainers and expanding my business. And then that's when I took off. So it was, it's just always that being at the right place at the right time, and then he left and then it was my turn.
Yeah. Are there other jockeys that have given you great advice that's just stuck with you throughout the years that if you have a moment where you feel like, oh man, this is a bad week or things aren't going well this month, that you really think of what some people have told you and the advice that they have given you and the encouraging words they have said?
A lot of jockeys don't try to encourage each other. It's competition.
It's competition.
But no, they do, and they're like, pick your head up.
I feel like they're a caring community.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Once we're back in the jocks room, it's kind of like family, but when you're out on that track and the gates open, it's
get out of my way.
Well, it's dog eat dog, we're all self-employed and trying to make a living, and we all want to be winners. So
So you've ridden alongside some of the best. Who are some of the best that are coming up in the ranks that you're like, this guy's good?
Oh, there's a bunch. As
The Ortiz brothers.
the Ortiz brothers, yes. Tyler Gaffleon,
Yeah.
Manny Franco, Axel Concepcion. There's just tons of them. I mean, Brian Hernandez, he's not as young as them, but he's still young himself,
Yeah.
and he's doing great. He's a great jockey. I think you could go 15 or 20 deep at Churchill, and you won't get a bad one.
Do you think there's something different about the work ethic or the environment in which these jockeys are coming up than when you came up?
For sure. These guys, they actually got to go to school
Yeah.
and learn how to ride from other great jockeys. And us growing up in Louisiana, we had to just go do it and learn by trial and error. Of course, the older jockeys would help you,
Mm-hmm.
but most of the time, looking back now, they would just really tell you stuff to keep you safe and themselves safe. Don't go in a bad spot.
Right.
But nowadays they have replays they can watch, and you can, you pick a horse with a jockey out and you see what he does, and you can see his mistake. And, I see Irad and Jose always talking like to Axel and a couple of the younger guys, and they always run to our corner for advice, after a race they ride, and they help them. And, I think that's why they're getting better.
Yeah. The training, the strategy, the technology, all of it is at your fingertips to study and improve yourself now more than ever.
Right. I don't say it makes it easier, but you have the information at your fingertips to learn how to maintain a healthier diet and do things right. And they're working out more in the gym. When I grew up, we didn't work out because they would put weight on you,
Mm-hmm.
So, but now they know how to do it and stay sleek.
Well, jockey is only as good as the trust that they have in the barn, and you've had some great trusted relationships with some of the best trainers in the business, Steve Asmussen, Dale Romans, Chris Hartman. When you look back, who are the trainers that you always felt perfectly in sync with?
Dale Romans for sure. He really easy to ride for. Never really gives any instructions. He knows we read the racing form, and he hires us to do our job. And if he didn't think we could do it, he wouldn't hire us. But he's probably one that I connect with the most. Steve Asmussen, he molded me into the rider I was, I think, because when I started riding, I used to ride first call for him, and his big thing was saving ground, and I got to ride good horses for him, and then constructive criticism made me better,
Mm-hmm.
And
Two different approaches. Dale's so hands off, and Steve is like able to give you constructive criticism.
He would. he was.
That has to be tough to hear, though. That has to be. I mean, what you do is so incredibly physical and so like in the moment decision making. That has to be so hard to hear. Coming up.
It was tough, but once you get it, you kind of get it.
Yeah.
And said he won a lot, so we won a lot of races together.
Yeah. And he knows what he's talking about when he's
Yes.
giving that advice
Yes.
too, and he wants the best for you.
Mm-hmm.
Who are you going to be sad to not work with again? That you're like, oh man, I got to make my way back to the barn and hang out with?
I don't think any of them,
You need
because I'm gonna go to the barn anyhow.
exactly.
So yes, I'll still hang out with them and be there and have
Yeah.
fun, and but as of now, I don't think I'll miss riding. Well, I may miss riding a race, but I surely won't miss the diet.
What are you going to start eating? What's
I
your
don't
dream?
know.
What's your dream week look like? Tell me.
Some rice and gravy that Mama makes.
Some red beans and rice.
That would be great.
Yeah.
It all sounds good.
Yeah. See, Louisiana food is definitely my non-diet food, but I eat it all when I'm there.
The shrimp po' boys
Oh.
and golly, so good.
So
The
good.
gumbo.
Maybe you'll work out the next day. Maybe
Yeah,
not.
maybe not.
Maybe
I don't
not.
have to.
But you'll get some exercise. You like to golf, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. I hear you're a scratch golfer.
Uh,
Soon.
soon, I hope. I'm
Soon.
average. I'm
Yeah.
about a 12 handicap.
It's
I have
pretty
fun.
good. Yeah.
Some days I'm better than that, and some days I'm a lot worse. Same with racing. Some days you're on, and some days you're not.
For the casual listener viewer of this podcast that may not know like all the in the weeds stuff of horse racing, but we like going to the races and we like the atmosphere, we like the fun of it, we like the win. You know, $2, $5, just make me be a winner by the end of the day. Describe what it is like to be going 40 miles an hour aboard a 1,200-pound animal, rounding the first turn or even the home stretch at Churchill Downs. What is the sound and what does it feel like as you turn for home?
It's adrenaline. You know, the thing I could compare it to is maybe when you're on a roller coaster and when you're about to get over the top and you just go straight down. That's the run through the stretch. You know, your stomach just kind of balls and you just going for it. You know.
Yeah.
But it's a great feeling.
Nothing like it.
No. If people could get on and just kind of have that one experience, but like in real life, it would be wow. You know, it'd be fun to watch somebody that's never done it do it the first time.
Well, jockeys are notoriously superstitious, some of them anyway. Did you have like a specific meal or lucky something or a routine that you would follow that always made you feel in a groove?
You know, we all have our routine. Like when we get there to start our day, we get there and go in the whirlpool or go in the sauna, you know, maybe get a massage and then go and you have done your homework the night before, but then you always you go back, you know, once we get our scratches and then so that could change the whole race around. So you got to kind of look at it again. We do that and then check your equipment a little bit, you know, get ready and then go do what we do. But it's almost like the same thing every day. And I am superstitious sometimes.
Yeah.
I try not to be, but if I can't win a race, I'll buy something new. And that seems to work. Spend money, you make money.
Yeah.
So
what have you bought recently to undo some bad mojo?
New pants, maybe a new whip, a new riding crop. Yeah, that's probably, I hadn't bought anything in a while because I hadn't been riding a lot.
Yeah.
So, you know, and I had a feeling this was coming to an end.
Will you buy anything new for the final ride?
No.
No.
I may borrow something.
That's a good idea. What are your thoughts on that final ride as you near kind of the end of the meet at Churchill Downs? Who do you hope that you're racing for? You know, who do you hope kind of are in those that you're working with in those final rides?
Right. You know, it'd be great. I ride a lot. Dale's been my supporter the most this last few months, so it'd be great to maybe ride the last one for him.
He needs to get you on a winner.
And win, yeah.
Yeah.
He said he is, so we're going to have to hold him to it. Him and I was talking to Dallas Stewart the other day too, and he promised me a good one too, so we'll see.
Yeah.
And
We're gonna come through for you.
You know, it'd be fun to have a good last day, maybe win 2, maybe 3. That would be great.
Listen, when we're at the track, my mom just remembers my time in Louisiana. She sees your name, she bets you all the time, just based on your name.
Right.
Like, what an achievement that is in the sport that people know you, common American, not knowing much about the sport. They see your name, they bet on you. That's your impact on the race. Corey's a winner.
That makes me feel good, you know, that people know who I am.
Yeah.
You know, because sometimes I forget that I was Irad Ortiz for a few years here, you know, winning on everything I rode. But it didn't seem like I was winning as much as him because I guess it was me.
Yeah.
But when you're on the outside and seeing him do it, it's like, man, he wins every time he goes out, you think almost, you know, and then I think back and I'm like, wow, that was me. So it feels pretty good.
Well, you gave us one heck of a ride. You ready for the rapid fire round to wrap it up? Just some quick questions. Really hard questions, Corey. All right. Best racetrack food in America?
Soup.
That's a good one. Single loudest crowd noise you've heard while on a horse?
Kentucky Derby.
Yep. Muddy track or fast track?
Muddy.
If you could have ridden any historical horse from the past, who would it be?
Secretariat.
first thing that you're going to eat or drink or all of the above the Monday morning when you don't have to make weight?
Probably a lot of eggs. Egg sandwich.
And Mama's beans and rice.
Yes, and Mama's steak, rice, and gravy.
Steak, rice, and gravy.
Yeah.
All right. I'll have to come for that.
Cream style corn. So good.
Well, it's been a pleasure, Corey. Thank you so much.
Well, thank you. Thanks for having me.
So Corey's final ride is going to be the wrap-up of Churchill Downs to wrap up their spring meet. So if you like this podcast, the Best Bet podcast, please share it with a friend. Share and subscribe, and we'll see you right back here next week. Thank you so much for watching the podcast. No matter where you're watching this right now, please leave a review because that gets the word out about this particular podcast. So until next week, have a good one, everybody. Cheers.